to this computer. Okay, thanks so much for joining tonight. My name is Maureen Welch, and I'm the Executive Director of the Disability Innovation Hub in downtown Littleton, and we have some exciting information for you tonight. We have a panel of experts on recreation, and we are just excited that you're here on the Zoom. And we are recording this tonight for some of our community who may not make it in real time. And I am going to be semi-moderating this. It's pretty informal. So at the end, we will have opportunity for questions. It'll probably take us about 30 minutes to allow our four panelists to speak, and then we'll open up for questions. So I do have you all muted right now so that you can listen to the presentation. And if you have any questions, you can put them into the chat. Why don't we do a test? Can one of you speak and let us know if we can hear through the microphone? Maybe Brendan?
Hello.
Can you guys hear Brendan? Thumbs up. All right, thank you, Nancy. All right, here we go. Very high tech. All right, so we're going to start with our question number one. We'll start on David's end and go through.
Great. Can they hear me from here? Or do I need to push the
Oh,
microphone?
maybe move it over a little. Thank you.
Great. So my name is David Ortiz. I'm the Executive Director of Ignite Adaptive Sports, and our main mission is to get disabled kids and adults cross-country skiing and downhill skiing at outdoor mountain resorts. So I myself was an athlete starting back in 2014, so this has been really amazing to see this organization grow and be able to offer that support.
Hey everybody, my name is Brendan. I am the STAR Program Specialist for South Suburban Parks and Recreation. And I've been in this position 9 years. And the STAR program, STAR stands for South Suburban Therapeutic Adaptive Recreation. I make activities and programs adapted for individuals with various disabilities. And I don't work as much with individuals in wheelchairs or similar, but more Down syndrome, autism, and there is some crossover, but that's generally my domain.
Hello, I'm Emma. You may know me as the community manager at the Disability Innovation Hub, but I also have my background in therapeutic recreation. So I'm a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, and I used to work with people with disabilities, and most recently I was a recreational therapist at a psychiatric hospital in Aurora doing group therapy. And so many people don't know what recreation therapy is when I say it. So my easiest way to put it is that it's a form of therapy through the use of recreation. And it can really teach any skill. Like, for example, we can teach impulse control through playing volleyball, because you can't hit the ball too hard or like it's gonna go not where you want it to. So.
Hi, my name is Joelle Rickard, and I am one of the founders of Wilderness Inclusion for Learning Development, and we are a relatively new nonprofit organization. Our mission is to increase outdoor access for individuals with disabilities to outdoor spaces, and to also create community for their families. Our main focus really is to provide resources and space for families to connect with outdoors being our common interest and the backdrop. And that's kind of the short about who we are.
Great. And do you want to move on to number two?
Sure. A story that demonstrates recreation success. So again, we are relatively new, but I would say what really demonstrates recreation successes for us as an organization has been the return of a lot of our families throughout our events. So we've had a couple of core families who have been consistent participants in our events, and what I feel is the most successful or the indicator of success is their enthusiasm about the program and about the community that's being built and their excitement to really take it on and develop the program so that it is really it's their project. It's not mine. I'm there as a facilitator, but they're truly the experts and it's theirs. So it has become a community. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wonderful.
So working at the psychiatric hospital, it's not anyone's favorite place to be. Specifically the kids, not a fan of it, of course. So for them, I saw a lot of the times they'd have a lot of behaviors, maybe they were aggressive, and then we would give them some type of like tedious activity. We had something called sticker by number, and it's basically like color by number, but instead you're placing stickers, and you have to be very particular with it. And these kids would just zone in and like be able to kind of calm down with it, or like I said, not being their favorite place. I saw some kids really light up when they got to do their favorite activity. Like if we played volleyball, I knew specific kids that loved to play volleyball. So I pulled that one out for them and they would have just like such a great time. So it was great to see their mood really improve through that.
Yeah, and my recreation field, I think it really comes down to human nature that people, everybody needs recreation. We have our work, we have our stress, we have the chaos of life, and individuals with disabilities want a place to have fun with their peers, to play goofy versions of tag, to play goofy versions of soccer. And it's really about that stress relief and creating that structure. I play softball once a week. That's a highlight for me. That's recreation. Individuals with disabilities need their weeks broken up with various activities. And it really helps develop the social, the emotional, and the mental improvement of just everybody. Even if you don't have a disability, everybody needs recreation.
Yeah, and our stories are really the greatest part about this work that we get to do. I mean, my own story, I started off as an athlete with Ignite Adaptive Sports back in 2014-15 as a disabled veterans. I've talked to other brother veterans on trips where they've mentioned that programs like this save their lives, whether they're suffering with PTSD or amputation or, visually impaired. To kids with invisible disabilities that come in, we have a sensory room. We're one of the few adaptive sports programs on a mountain that has that. We have equipment that we can rent to them. You get 1 to 3 certified, all volunteer instructors though. And just being able to watch their child go out and have fun, give them a little bit of a rest too, but also engage with other families that might be going through the same thing. I mean, the whole environment for anybody that participates is pretty life-changing, besides the benefits of getting outside and the mental benefits of getting outside and doing a sport. There's just a community that you get to build and get to enjoy. So
I'm going to answer that one for James now.
of course.
So it's Maureen again. So James got a little shy and he didn't want to come to the panel table, which is understandable. So I just wanted to share a few stories. James has participated in Unified Special Olympics at Cherry Creek High School, and they have a variety of sports depending on the time of the year. They have bowling, they have track and field, cheer, basketball, and they compete with typical peers that come, and it's sort of like a club sport in the old days before we had all this competitive stuff in the schools. So they just come together to have scrimmages and have fun, and then once in a while they play another school. So that's been really critical for him to have a sense of belonging in a school beyond his special education program. So that's in the school setting. And then he did participate in downhill alpine skiing at the National Center for Sports, NSCD, I can't remember, NSCDF at Winter Park. And he did that with an individual instructor before the COVID. And then after the COVID, he was older. We did join a team, but then he really needed an adult setting because he is 18 now, believe it or not. And so we joined the adaptive program at Boulder Park and Rec, even though we live in Englewood. Because they had a team that is based out of the Ignite program. And I really liked the idea of having highly trained instructors for him, and also having a coordinator from the rec center who kind of helped set up each Sunday or Saturday morning, excuse me. And that was super successful this last year. And it kind of, from a parent point of view, the first time we went there, he was really nervous. The second week, he kind of laid his stuff out. And then by the third week, he basically told me to go away because he knew where everything was and he just wanted me out of the picture. So that's just kind of a example of the independence and also the confidence that it brings to him because he's a really good skier. And so as a parent, I really see recreation for my son as a critical connection to the community. So even though James was a little shy and didn't want to come up here, I wanted to share what he has gotten out of recreation. All right, so we'll go back to number 3 now.
Okay. So the question, just to put it out there to y'all, is what barriers do you see in access to recreation for disabled or neurodivergent people? I see it everywhere and all the time, living with a disability myself, having worked on disability rights bills. The bottom line, it's about securing and fighting for our basic access on the state, federal, city level, working with organizations like South Suburban, you know, that could represent and be the mouthpiece in the ears for the municipality and counties, to also working with organizations like Ignite, trying to help organize. I mean, whether we're talking about lifts becoming less accessible to already existing adaptive sports equipment, and that's not cheap. Each piece of, like, a monoski rig costs $8,000 to $9,000, right? A mountain bike costs $8,000, or a recumbent bike costs $2,000, right? So making sure that the things that we get to use should be accessible. And guess what? Because of the Architectural Barriers Act, Section 504 of it, and the ADA, they're mandated, if they're on federal land or receive federal funding, to be accessible. So it's about knowing your rights, it's about organizing together and fighting for that access. And then also making sure that you're supporting organizations and institutions that do that. So from like monoski rigs and lifts, but also to trailheads, right? You've seen those trailheads that kind of whine to make sure cattle can't get out. Do you think they care about designing with us in mind? They don't. You know who has to make them care? We do. That's who has to make them care. Not saying that they're maliciously trying to block our access, but you know this, Maureen, in our work often, we get treated callously and dismissed often, especially because of the perceived upfront cost that they view to our access. Meanwhile, they've benefited from curb cuts. Meanwhile, they benefited from Zoom participation when able-bodied were threatened, when able bodies were threatened.
And the captioning we're enjoying tonight.
Exactly right, exactly right. So universal design hurts no one and benefits everyone. And this community is one that you could either join at any time, or if you live long enough, I guarantee you will. So it's about making sure that we organize for our basic access and informing and educating and empowering the community when and where we can.
Do you want to talk about maybe the legislation that you worked on? And I'm curious if the lift bill might come back.
So I just got an update on that. So what Maureen is talking about was, I wanted to get outdoor organizations' attention. So I had drafted a bill that mandated a freeze on all renovations and installations of ski lifts if they were not accessible for adaptive athletes. Ski Country got big mad at that. And they have a team of like 5 lobbyists with billions of dollars. So they came to the table. We knew that our bill wasn't going to pass out of the Senate, and the Gov had an issue with it. So we turned a loss into a win by creating a bill that then created a task force to study disability rights. And one of the subcommittees was basic access in the outdoors. So from that, the committee had decided to put it on the B77 ANSI committee, which regulate all lifts in the state, to create standards. Well, I just got word from the only disabled committee member that they're not taking him seriously, they're not listening to him. And so the solution that they're thinking about proposing now is that 2 of the lifts out of all of the individual lifts that are on the entire lift should be accessible.
Per resort?
Per lift, only 2 of the, I don't know what you call them.
Chairs.
The chairs themselves would be accessible. So this is why we need to be constantly vigilant and constantly be working together and organizing, because those individuals that don't want to spend the money, that only care about their bottom line, that are callously concerned about the comfort of able-bodied folks over the access of disabled folks, that's why we need you to show up, because stuff like this will continue to happen otherwise. So
and then what about your bill that allows an additional prosthesis for access?
Yeah, so that's another thing we need to organize around too. So the bottom line of this bill is it mandated
Do you
insurance
remember the
coverage.
number?
Don't anymore, I don't. But it mandates, if you want to look up the campaign, because we're trying to pass this across the state so that kids can move.
So the kids can move, okay.
Yeah, so if you want to look that up. But what it does is it mandates that health insurance companies cover one sports limb or
Right.
limbs to get kids and adults active actually.
Mhm.
So, you know, it was unanimously, almost unanimously, I think it was like 97 out of 100 legislators supported it. The gov threatened a last minute veto. We threatened to do a press conference bringing out all the kids with amputees if he was going to do that, and he backed off. Then try to kill it on the back end through the Department of Health and Insurance. So this is what I mean, like you constantly have to be on guard and watching your elected leaders to make sure that you get basic access and treated like a human being. Like the phrase that I've been saying a lot lately is our needs are not special needs, they're human needs. And so we need to stop allowing people to say it like that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna put in a shameless plug.
yeah, please.
Shameless plug to the Zoom audience. I'm gonna be at the Capitol next Friday, the 22nd, all day. So if you want to do a little training, get some, walking around and talking to legislators, let me know. Okay, thanks because you're covering the hub. I can go.
Yeah, and thank you very much for that. That was very informative. And from my seat, we're in recreation. The biggest barrier of access is really transportation and getting individuals to where they need to be. Colorado, from my experience, is a very good state in terms of funding. Now, I know there's barriers to that. There are headaches to the funding, and it's not easy. From my experience, there is access to great resources. And I don't know what goes on in other states, but making individuals aware of what they can access and fighting for those rights that Colorado offers.
Are you
And I
talking
think-
about the waivers perhaps?
Yeah. that's what I was
Medicaid
saying.
waivers.
I was gonna say, Maureen, you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
that you fought for a couple clients who are now on waivers. And it can be a process to get on, but making sure that the individuals know, their caretakers, parents know that these resources are there for them. And and your story isn't the first where you hear about, I had no idea. And really just making sure everyone knows about the access and keeping that encouragement up.
So there's so many different barriers for everyone with recreation. Like Brendan mentioned, transportation is a big one. And I remember in college, I was in a small town in Wisconsin, or medium size, I don't know. And they had us in class one day say, okay, you are going to go navigate the bus system here. None of us had really navigated it. And like I said, not a big town, but I failed at it. My peers failed at it. We didn't know how to navigate the bus system. And a lot of the times we would see people be like, oh, well, if this individual wants to go do this thing, they can just take the bus. But we're neurotypical and we can't figure out the bus system. And now you're telling somebody else to go figure it out on their own. And maybe they're neurodivergent or disabled. And then other barriers would be things like financial, social. If I wanted to go play like volleyball, but I don't have people to go play with, how am I going to do that? And emotional, if somebody has like social anxiety, some things might be difficult for them. So there's many different things to think about, but the great thing about recreation is it can really be adaptive to anybody's needs. And yeah, things like David does really helps people get access to what they need.
Thank you. I think David really covered accessibility barriers, particularly as they pertain to the physical aspects of it and the financial aspects of it. I think in terms of the outdoors, there's also a big cultural piece. I would say that there is this with the outdoors in particular, this attitude of you have to have achieved a certain level of fitness or skill to be able to participate in that sport or that activity, or you have to have a certain quality of gear or a certain level of knowledge to gain access to that activity or that sport. And I think that there needs to be a cultural shift in thinking about outdoor recreation, so that people of all abilities feel empowered to access outdoor spaces and feel valued as contributing members of outdoor spaces, not just like, not that we've just created small spaces for them, but we've opened spaces for them to truly be participants in, and yeah, just contributing. I would say contributing members.
All right, I'm going to put on James's hat again. So I just want to tie in what Brendan was saying about the waivers providing some funding. James participated in skiing, and the Special Olympics team provided skis and helmets, and they did not provide boots. And James has very unique feet. I didn't realize this till the PT at Children's told me, but 50% of people with Down syndrome have one extreme bunion on one foot. So he had to get specialized boots, and also specialized inserts that were different than the inserts he normally wears. So I, in my knowledge of the waivers, decided to get an invoice and submit it, and it was actually covered by our Medicaid waiver as in a therapeutic recreation item. So there's another example of how understanding how the waivers work and being able to leverage some of the equipment that might be custom for, he can't walk up to a ski desk and use the boots that they have behind the desk. It just wouldn't work. He wouldn't make it down the hill once, probably with pain. So, connecting that need to get on the waiver with the access to resources is a very valid one. And now we're on number 4, which is how can organizations like Disability Innovation Hub collaborate with people and organizations to get more recreation engagement in our community? Number 4. So I'll start with David at this end.
Yeah. Thanks. Organizations like the Disability Innovation Hub are so critical, not only because they help individuals navigate and get access to the resources they need. Those resources equal basic access. Those resources equal independence and freedom. But also they can act like a bridge builder and an umbrella organization to help the different silos of our community living with a disability learn about each other, collaborate better, and work together. So, organizations like this are real critical. They have a lot of potential to do a lot of good. So.
Yeah, going off of what David said, people ask me, my friends, how did you hear about that? Or how do you know about that? And I go, well, it's my field, it's my work. And the more organizations such as Disability Innovation Hub and the more community centers that promote and advocate for individuals with disabilities, the larger our community becomes. And I'm privy to a lot of organizations that my friends have never heard of. Just like in their jobs, they know about all these organizations I've never heard of. And the more resources, the more organizations we have, the tighter we become as a community. And when Emma reached out to me, I had never heard of Disability Innovation Hub, and I thought it sounded like a great resource and another great way to build the community for the IDD community.
I guess I'll give you a little insider perspective, as I am the person who does this here. I am constantly looking for new people, new organizations, and thankfully we've been able to make a bunch of contacts. People always refer others. There's a lot of networking that happens. So we've gotten to connect with music therapists and like Joelle and Brendan and now David. Let's see. We also have like weekly community free events. So we're always trying to offer something to our community that people can come to without as many barriers as possible, other than transportation, I suppose. But yeah, I'd like to hear more about how I can find more recreation engagement for our community.
Send ideas to you.
Yeah, send some ideas.
Well, I think where small organizations like mine can get lost is when we try to do too much and we spread ourselves too thin. And so where I think organizations like Disability Innovation Hub help is it allows us, small organizations like us, to focus on what we are really good at, and then it brings us together with other organizations and enables us to collaborate. And so it builds community and a community of support. So we together are able to serve the wider community and be and better
Yeah.
serve
Yeah.
the people that we're here to serve. Yeah.
So we're going to open it up for questions, but I just wanted to make one comment. Yesterday, I went to a training. So the Disability Innovation Hub has a fiscal sponsor. And for those of you that are not nerds of nonprofit land, it means that I have an organization as an executive director, and I use another organization as sort of an umbrella over me, and they provide a lot of technical assistance and also very practical information. So I went to a training yesterday, and the one thing I realized is we have a real advantage at the Disability Innovation Hub in that we're not trying to create a bunch of programs. We're trying to create a space and a place for community to interact. So that's why we're hosting this tonight. We have another one coming up on, correct me if I'm wrong, Wednesday, the 27th. And that is about education, different pathways to education. So you don't just have to go, I mean, public school is one way to go, but you can also create other programs and there's different ways of learning. So if you want to learn more about that, that will be on the 27th of this month. And then we have some other ones coming up. So if you have not yet signed up for our newsletter, that's available on our website, disabilityinnovationhub.org. And now we're going to go ahead and open it up for some questions. So you can either just unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you're shy and you want to type it in the chat, I can do that too. It looks like Evan had to take off, but anyone who's left, let's see what you have to say. Oh, I missed a couple people. All right. Sorry, Brianna and Reiko, I did not see you in the waiting room. That's what I get for being a new techie person. But we did record this, and I will send it to both of you. Thank you for coming. But now we have questions and answers about recreation. So Nancy, do you have any questions or comments?
Oh, now I didn't know how to unmute myself.
You did.
I have been going to the Innovation Hub as soon as I found out about it, and I do love it. And I guess when I hear panels and things like that, there are little pieces of each of you for us. I mean, Maureen, I'm the one that Maureen just got on a DD waiver. She fought for it gallantly, and
Well, your son got on the waiver, right?
no, I know, I suppose. No, I didn't. My son did. And so that was amazing. Had I had not found her, I would not have been able to do it. I even had a hard time because it was just melting me down, trying to do it. But she did most of the hard work for me, pulled it together in order, and I was able to, do it that way. So there's Maureen. And then and I'm sorry, I forgot every one of your names. I'll say the wrong one.
That's
The man
okay.
the man in the black shirt, has
Yes, uh-huh.
yeah, you were saying about, doing bills and everything like that. I wouldn't know how to go forth in doing that, but thank you for that for sure. You sound like Maureen in a way. You're just ready to go, you know?
Yeah, he served though. He gave up his life for many long years.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm curious, Nancy, if you consider coming to the hub for Tommy, your son, recreational.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, he does a lot of things there, for sure. When he gets there, he loves the ball. He loves scooting out the door and playing with doors. And anyway, yeah. I do like that. I guess the big question is a question that I don't know how to form into a question, but all of these little areas and things and each one of you do, like I think for me, Colorado, is missing that unified type place where they can go down and say, oh, okay, these people know about this waivers. They know waivers good. They know this good. I don't know if that's a thing that maybe somebody could look into, like that when,
Like maybe the hub, huh?
exactly.
You should
Right.
wanna-
Exactly. And how can the hub be that to people who don't know it? One of your panel members didn't know, and she works in the areas. So I don't know. That's what I mean, because if I hadn't found Maureen through a friend, I might not have known it. I mean, maybe I'm not into I don't have all the like I'm not on a bunch of groups or anything like that. I just pretty much, and there's a lot of people that aren't. They just kind of take care of their home. So how do we get to them? How does that happen?
It's a really great thing. I'm going to have Emma write that down. Any opinions?
Veterans have, because veterans, we have one-stop shops. Essentially, that's what it sounds like you're asking for. Are there
Yeah.
some places, locations of one-stop shops where you can get people, you can get access to direct resources, a place that is accessible and caters to you as well, that'll help you navigate resources, that'll help you connect you to resources, organizations. Veterans have that. On the Western Slope here in the Front Range, across the state, we that live with a disability, as far as I know, we do not have anything like that yet. And we obviously need to work to change that. I think part of what we need to do is keep coming out of our silos. And I say keep coming out of our silos because whether people realize it or not, Colorado is #1 for disability rights and basic access. There's reports that came out over the summer demonstrating that. Now, that being said, like, we know how inaccessible everything is still, right? We can't be resting on our laurels. We have to build on that momentum and get out there and start pushing this idea. This does need to happen. That's amazing. I'm glad you brought it up. So we need to keep supporting that and maybe lifting up the Disability Innovation Hub to be able to start trying to help create places like that. So
Yeah, and I think also I'll pass it to Brendan, but one of my other frustrations, Nancy, is that age and disability seem to divide us. So that's why I really wanted the hub to be all ages and for everybody, especially those who don't belong anywhere else, because, oh, that place is for under 8. That place is only for autism. That place
Right.
is for over 18. I'm like, that's crazy. Everyone's welcome. So
Right. And I love the Innovation Hub because of that. And then and any need, my son is very, medically fragile. He's behavioral thing. He's really a high needs child. And he couldn't go to one of the respite places he used to go to because his trach, you say you have a trach, you can't go anywhere, But when you say there's all different, like there's an autism place, there's a so-and-so place, in this place, like you have in the veterans place, could there be something and the Innovation Hub can do to say, here, this page is all of the respite areas in Colorado. And then here's, because the caseworkers don't have very good ones. So there's Maureen, she's rare.
it sounds like a good grant idea. You want to write a grant with me, Nancy?
Yeah, I do.
So I had Jeannie write in a question that I think we'll go to next, unless anyone else wants to answer okay, let's finish up on Nancy's and then we'll go to Jeannie.
I think you brought up so many great things, Nancy, and it makes me think I got a lot of work to do. But yeah, I think that would be wonderful. I know when we have people stop in here, they might not exactly need the hub as a place to go, but they need other resources. A lot of the times I'm pointing them to Maureen because
Yeah.
some people come and they have no idea about the waivers. And so that can be very life-changing for them. So, you know, if you spread the word, that'd be awesome, just so we can get it out there that we are here to help people. I'm about to enter my master's program in social work, so I'll definitely be like plugging the hub so that other social workers, as they go into their fields, that they know that this exists and this is a tool for people to come to.
Yeah, and not necessarily, oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
Well, that's okay. You know, I might add that when they go in there, we can't send everybody as it gets busier to Maureen, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know. We need her brain. All right. So,
And I, not necessarily like an answer to your question, but adding a little bit to it, I currently, in my other role, I'm working at the preschool level and have been introduced to a lot of families who are at that child find age, and it's incredible who comes to me and they're not aware of the resources that are available to them. And it's actually pretty shocking the lack of community that they have and the lack of knowledge that they have. And so I think that's also why it's really important to do some of the work that we're doing in terms of creating community and family networks. Because that is where a lot of that information is going to be shared, and that's where a lot of those real conversations are happening. Like you're saying, those case managers don't have those lists for you. Not going to be giving you, they're going to beat around the bush when you're asking questions. They're not going to give you the easiest pathway, where the families who have been through it, who have done the process, they're going to give you the clearest answers. And I think that's the important thing, is those family networks and those communities.
Do you have anything to say, Brendan?
No, I was gonna just kind of piggyback off David.
I was going to say, Brendan, you know, I think I'm the daughter of a librarian, so I think the libraries and our rec centers are two other public places that could do a better job of, you know, referring people to other community resources. But thank you so much, Nancy. Those were excellent points. I appreciate you being here. And now I'm going to go on to Jeannie's question, which is, what are some sources of funding for recreation therapy? So, Jeannie, I happen to know your family, but for under 18, we do have CES waiver has the therapeutic rec benefit. Unfortunately, it's only $1,000 a year, but you can get a overage if you ask to go over the $1,000 and stay within your annual service plan. So if you need more than 1,000, call me up and I'll tell you how to do it. And then if you're over 18 or not on the CES waiver, there is the local mill levy money, which is that property tax that's in Metro Denver and also Boulder County, and you can request an unmet needs request for like an adaptive bike or equipment to access the outdoors or a specialized wheelchair, different things like that. So those are just some resources, financial resources. And then I think hooking up with the organizations that have the equipment like Ignite, you know, there's other places where you can actually use equipment just for the times that you need it instead of investing and owning it. It's a much greener way to do things too. And often you have specialized trained people that can fit it, because that's another whole thing when you buy something, is you have to get it fitted. So I'm going to open it up to the rest of the panel. Resources for recreation therapy.
Yeah, I mean, for Ignite, we offer some of the most affordable classes when it comes to downhill cross-country skiing. We offer classes starting at $95, whereas other places will be $135, $165 for the day. We also give out over $35,000 in scholarships a year, so your inability to even pay that should not stop you from coming out and having a good time. So please find out more at our website if you're looking for that. If you're an organization that's trying to provide some of these opportunities, Move United is an umbrella organization that offers lots of money in grants, a lot of infrastructure to be able to support your organization, as well as conferences to be able to learn more about what you need to be doing. There's the Outdoor Equity Grant that was started here in Colorado. It was a bill that I ran 3 years ago, and it was increased by another $1 million last year. So there are opportunities out there either on the individual level or on the org level. So
Yeah, for the STAR program, South Suburban Therapeutic Adaptive Recreation, we work with Developmental Pathways and Douglas County Mill Levy money. And I have a great relationship with Developmental Pathways and Douglas County. And we're able to provide, for the most part, 50% off a lot of our programs because of money we receive. And we do believe in a buy-in program where you have to put in a certain amount of money. It's $20, $30. It's for a 4 or 5 hour Saturday trip. But with that money and that close relationship, we're able to offset a lot of the costs. And I'll get questions from clients, parents, or caretakers. Hey, is there scholarships? And I'll tell them that yes, on the back end, that we get this money and we're able to offset the program cost from the original price to 50%, which all adds up in the end.
So for those of you that don't live in Arapahoe County, because that's the South Suburban catchment, do we have any Douglas in there? Or is it all, it's all Arapahoe?
We
yeah?
have some.
A little bit of Douglas, okay. Is that the therapeutic rec programs tend to sit at your recreation center. So even if you live in Denver or Boulder, you can ask there for the therapeutic rec adaptive program. Also, I heard a hot tidbit of information last night with a friend who came over to our house to swim. She said that the Lafayette Rec Center, after years, she's been on their case about getting therapeutic rec. They're finally going to do it. And they're not doing it because of her. They're doing it because Erie did it. So I think it's hysterical because Erie has huge development. I don't know if you've ever been up in Erie, but it's Weld County and they're building like crazy. And then right across the border in Erie to Boulder County, you have all the open space requirements. So anyway, she's thrilled, but it's kind of hysterical that they're doing it to keep up with the Joneses.
Hello. So I think there's so many great resources in Colorado. Like they mentioned, like the recreation center, I think is just the most amazing resource to get that affordable therapeutic rec. I'll say from like my perspective in rec therapy, in the hospital side, there is specific policies that prevent recreational therapists from being able to provide adequate care. I can't tell you the exact policy, but essentially it limits the amount of hours that we're able to provide care to people. So that's something that has to change on the policy side for that. But I'll say there are community resources such as the Hub. We're offering that like free community events, and there are free community events everywhere. Just from like personal experience, I recommend like checking out Facebook groups or Facebook events. And sometimes you'll be surprised from what you Google, what you can just find. And then we're able to, if like a membership was wanted, usually Maureen's able to figure out all that mill levy funding and waivers, and I believe it covers it 100%.
All of our events are free.
Do you want to plug your website?
Yeah, wildernessinclusion.org.
And you mostly
Yeah,
Southwest.
so we are in Littleton, and so we are kind of in that Littleton Jeffco area. But we do have families in Lafayette and Colorado Springs. So we do plan all over the area based on family feedback. So we are open to planning based on where families are seeking activities.
Right.
Yeah, another thing. Okay, Maureen, you might be able to help me with this. I learned about a resource recently. It's the Denver Art Students of Denver League.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. And I was told they offer like specific financial help. So it was like if you make under like $60,000 to $63,000 a year. You only have to pay 10% of the classes that they offer. You're able to choose a variety of different art classes. And then I think they also have another cap where it's like if you make under this amount, you only pay 50%. So there are some affordable options out there.
Great. And if anyone else has a question or wants to type it in the chat, you can just unmute yourself or type away and I'll read it out loud or let you talk. So I'm curious if Brianna is multitasking, she might be, but did you hear that about Erie starting a rec program? I know you live up there, so I'd love that for you.
Yeah, I do know that it is starting, and we've had some things, but a lot of what they have is for ages 6+, so we don't quite qualify for it yet, but
You need to
hopefully.
talk to your county commissioners about that and the rec board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're always asking for recommendations, and I'm like, well, I don't attend them because they don't fit my age group. And so
Right. Yeah, that's a challenge. Like I think most of every rec district seems to do it differently. I think South Suburban is mostly 18 and up. For the 13? Okay, 13 and up. So I think that the more people that go and say they want it for younger, the better. Also, I wanted to mention that the rec centers, the libraries, all of our public entities, one of the nice things too is that if you wanted to participate in one of the mainstream classes, like, hey, there's a yoga class for teenagers, you can ask it for an ADA accommodation of having a support person attend with your loved one. And James did that for a long time when he was not in the school system because they didn't know how to serve him. So we used to go to the Buck Center every week on the same day to swim and to participate in different resources there. So don't forget those places because you can get the punch cards. If you're an adult on the waiver, you can get punch cards for your rec center. And if you're a youth, you can get that through your mill levy money. So anyone else have any questions? If not, we will go to closing comments. So I'll give a minute of just some quiet for you to see if you can formulate a question before we move on to closing.
So I don't have a question, but one thing I do want to add is that what we have found is you can get money to your local rec center. So like we applied for, I don't know, like a special needs or something. And because Natalie's on the Medicaid waiver, we get $200 per person in our household to go do classes or have different pieces of that. So that's something I just wanted to throw out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess all those building permits up in Erie are paying off, huh?
And then developmental pathways has, I'm sure you know of this, Maureen, unmet needs.
Yes.
So there is, and on my end, I am not actually involved too much in the world of waivers. I hear about them, but it is my territory, but I'm not directly involved in it. But I do know of unmet needs.
I also have, I don't know if everybody knows about this already, but it's not necessarily a specific program, but I believe depending on diagnosis, someone can get like a lifetime pass to the national parks for free.
Yeah.
Fishing license, all that.
Yeah, the same thing for, I think it's $19 for the state one, but that's annual. The nice thing about the park one is you don't have to keep renewing it. With the state one, you have to like get a new thing every year, which is kind of a pain. So unfortunately, the unmet needs funding is only for Metro Denver and Boulder because the taxpayers had to prove that. And Weld County didn't run it on their ballot because their research said it wasn't going to pass back in 2002. I think they ran it. So, okay, any other questions or comments before I let everyone close it up? Really appreciate you coming tonight. And Brianna and Reiko, I'm so sorry that I didn't see you in the waiting room. I'm a new techie on this. Next time I'll be better. And I will have a recording, so I'll make sure that I send it to you. All right, we'll start on the end here with Joelle. Closing comments. You can plug your org shamelessly.
Okay, closing comments, I would say, for us, really, we just hope to see y'all on the trail, and you can check us out at wildernessinclusion.org, or on Instagram at wildernessinclusion, and whether it is with us or with one of these lovely organizations. Get out there and get active, recreate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll plug the hub again. It's a wonderful place to be, and we just love to see everybody here, whether it's just checking out the space or coming to one of our free community events. We might not, what am I saying? We might have a resource that you didn't think we have. So we'd like to hear any questions or see if there's any other ways we can help other than being a community space for you.
Yeah, to close, I'm gonna piggyback off of David. He presented very well about never getting complacent. Colorado is the #1 state, and that's, I can't quote the exact source, but I've seen that in many social media mediums and many publications, and we just always have to keep moving forward. And I was watching ESPN. David Hurt with the Philadelphia Eagles doesn't wear his Super Bowl ring because that was in the past, and he's looking to move forward. And I kind of really, that resonated with me, and that's how I think we should continue with individuals with disabilities.
Appreciate that. I'm not gonna top that. I'm just gonna shamelessly talk about my organization. Come ski with us, Ignite. Ignite a passion for sliding on snow. You can find out more about us at our website, igniteadaptivesports.org. You can call us at 720-310-0328 or info@igniteadaptivesports.org. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or on Instagram. Find out more about the amazing stories of the folks that we're impacting, volunteers and athletes, and different opportunities they are to advocate for the outdoors too. So thanks for hosting us. This has been amazing. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. So thank you all for coming. I was going to say that recreation doesn't have to be athletic. Just want to wrap up with that. We had a painting class here that was really popular, so we're going to run that again as a free community event next month. And I also, any of you out there are crafters and know how to use the Cry-Cut machine, also known as Cricut. We have one here that I got off of Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know what they have to do with it. So I'd love to have you come over and help me make some swag for our members. And we did have a support person for James who was like a whiz at it. So she made a bunch, but we need another whiz. So send us anyone that knows how to use the Cry-Cut machine. And remember, it's also creative side. Recreation can be painting, crafts. We also have, I believe, a ceramics public event coming up. So check out our calendar on Disability Hub. DisabilityInnovationHub.org, and we have a calendar on there, and you can RSVP to the events on that website. So thanks again for coming, and have a great evening. Goodbye.